Hi everyone, this is May Park. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you how to create a watercolor card with a stamped background. This is my first card that I shared for Create a Smile as a guest designer this month. I colored my images using copying markers, so I decided to do some watercoloring for my second project today. I'll be using the Doctor's Helper stamp set and the stacked pierced ovals die set. These are different types of watercolor paper I have collected over the years. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a professional watercolorist or anything, and I barely use them until now. I just started enjoying watercoloring and feel more comfortable with using watercolors for my projects. Today I'm going to use cold pressed watercolor paper from Archie's. My talented friend Yana highly recommended Archie's watercolor paper in a recent video tutorial, so I wanted to give it a try. I already pre-cut my watercolor paper using Timur's tonic paper trimmer to save my time. I'm drawing some guidelines using a pencil and the smallest oval die from the set on the watercolor piece. You can skip this process if you want, but it's going to help me figure out where to stamp my sentiment later. I'm going to stamp the large images first along with a few supporting images using the MISTI stamping tool. If you don't have this tool, you can use a regular acrylic block for stamping. I'm positioning my watercolor paper inside MISTI and placing my stamps on the paper. Then I'm closing the cover and picking up the stamps. Next, I'm going to ink up with the Heroes black ink and close the cover and press it down over the paper. My stamping impression was not good. I know sometimes stamping on the watercolor paper is challenging as the paper is textured. However, this cold pressed watercolor paper seems more difficult to get good stamping compared to hot pressed watercolor paper, in my opinion. That's why I'm stamping multiple times for each image to achieve the intense black lines. Just like many of you, I use baby wipes to clean the inks after stamping. I don't know about you, but I feel I waste the baby wipes if I throw them away after use. So I decide to collect my used baby wipes and store them in a container. After my project is done, I wash them with a soap and clean water. Since I mostly use water-based ink for my projects, I can get perfect clean baby wipes back. And I store my one-time use baby wipes in a small bowl to prevent my paper from getting wet by accident. I'm using a paper towel and a scrap paper to make sure I don't have any water or ink remained on the stamps. I keep stamping to fill in the gap with the small images until I'm happy with my stamped background. By the way, I'm using a waterproof black ink for stamping as I'm going to watercolor my images. Once I'm done with the stamping, I'm cutting my stamped panel into 4 inch by 5 1/4 inch using Timur's tonic paper trimmer. I have to say this trimmer cut my paper so precisely and beautifully. Best paper trimmer ever. Now it's time for watercoloring. I have a bowl of water, paper towel, and a round paintbrush ready on my desk. And I'm going to use the Gansai Tambi 36 watercolor set. I'm using a piece of watercolor paper as my color palette. It's good because I can figure out how my watercolors would act and look like on the paper. If you make a mess with your watercoloring, you can fix it by adding some clean water on the paper and picking up the colors with a paper towel. I found cold pressed watercolor paper is easier to clean up the mess compared to hot pressed watercolor paper. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. In this video, I'll be watercoloring in two ways. I'm going to add intense colors first with less water and spread the colors by adding more water. The other way is coloring with light color first with lots of water for the base coat, then adding more colors later to add some shading. Now I'm going to speed up the video and turn on some music, and I'll be back when I want to share some tips along the way. I'm going to mount my watercolor panel on the A2 size top folding card using foam tape to give some dimension. I'm stamping the sentiment from the Doctor's Helper stamp set with black ink. Then I'm placing the smallest oval die from the stacked pierced ovals die set on my paper and secure them with washi tape and running them through my Cuttlebook die cutting machine. I'll be mounting the sentiment piece on the card front using some dimensional adhesives. I'm using my T-ruler to help me align the sentiment in straight. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed watching my video and loved my watercolor card. If you like my video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel so you won't miss any new video from me. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back with another video very soon. Bye bye!